Our weekly immigration news roundup is brought to you by the law firm of Figueroa and Associates. For consultation on any immigration or legal matter, please call 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. For full stories and more immigration news, visit www.theimmigrantsjournal.com. That's www.theimmigrantsjournal.com.
Hello, my name is Mary Campbell, legal assistant at the law firm of Figueroa and Associates, and your presenter with this week's immigration news. We begin with USCIS reissues temporary rule to extend work permits for 800,000 immigrant workers. Thousands of immigrant workers with pending work permit renewals and their employers breathed a sigh of relief last week. On April 8, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services USCIS issued a temporary rule that automatically extends the validity period of their work permits for up to 540 days, or about a year and a half. This amends an existing regulation, which provides workers with an automatic extension of up to 180 days. USCIS issued this rule to prevent any lapses in employment for nearly 800,000 workers that could have resulted from the agency's processing backlogs. Immigrants contribute billions to federal and state taxes each year. Without fail, each tax day a prevalent myth resurfaces that conceals the truth about immigrants' contributions to federal, state, and local taxes. Bolstered by social media and other outlets, it misleadingly asserts that immigrants, particularly those who are undocumented, evade taxes. The facts don't back up these claims. Immigrants, including undocumented immigrants, pay taxes. Our analysis of the 2022 American Community Survey, ACS, found that immigrants in the United States have a combined household income of $2.1 trillion and contribute $382.9 billion to federal taxes and $196.3 billion in state and local taxes, leaving them with $1.6 trillion in spending power. Meanwhile, in New York, hundreds of Africans convene at council hearing on Black migrants. New African arrivals, many with specific dietary and language needs, need stronger support from the city's response systems, advocates have warned for months. Hundreds of African migrants descended on City Hall the morning of Tuesday, April 16, ahead of a city council hearing on the experiences of Black migrants arriving in the 5 boroughs. Word about the hearing spread through WhatsApp messages and groups, as did some misinformation. Several migrants who spoke with the city said they thought the council might vote to give them work permits. One teen shared a WhatsApp video in French incorrectly telling people they would be given $5,000 or $10,000 debit cards for food supplies. I came to find out, said the 18-year-old from Guinea, who shared only his nickname, AB. Others said they'd come to support those testifying on their behalf. We're here, we don't work, we're in the shelters, we're suffering, said Abdul Nate, who arrived 3 months ago and is from Guinea. Speaking in French, he added, "We're here to reclaim our rights." Gowanus migrant shelter allowed to open with outdated fire inspection. The fire alarm system in a new 400-bed migrant shelter next to Brooklyn's Gowanus Canal that's housing migrants is not currently up to fire code, but the FDNY okayed opening it because the provider agreed to put a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week fire watch guard in place. Officials granted a temporary certificate of occupancy on the basis that the operator would put in a round-the-clock fire watch guard. But the company in charge of security at the site is being investigated elsewhere for billing the city for fire guards who were never there. Many migrant children evicted from shelters also left school. Nearly 1 in 5 children evicted from New York City migrant shelters are no longer enrolled in the same schools, potentially disrupting the education of over 1,000 students, according to data shared with the City Council. The findings, which run through early last month, offer an early look at the educational impact of Mayor Eric Adams' 60-day shelter limits. He says the policy is necessary to make space in the city's strained shelter system and encourage migrants to move out on their own. The data provided by the administration paints a disheartening picture. Over 1,000 children have had their education disrupted because of the cruel 60-day eviction rule for families in shelter. Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala, D. Manhattan/Bronx, chair of the Committee on General Welfare, said a statement. Level 1 incidents in migrant waiting rooms detail fights, freezing, and frustrations. Dozens of internal reports from what had been the city's main daytime and evening waiting rooms, which thousands of migrants passed through while waiting for a shelter placement, show people freezing, fighting, and pushed to the brink. The incidents described are all dubbed Level 1, the most serious, and could include weapons, violence or threats, injuries where someone was taken to the hospital, or cases where 911 was called, according to Internal Office of Emergency Management guidance. Many of the documents detail incidents like stolen phones and fights that could have happened at any of the city's hundreds of shelters. But around 24 incidents point to unique issues in the ad hoc and ever-changing separate system for migrants, in which people wait days or weeks with limited access to food and no showers for a new shelter placement. In other news, DOS suspends visa services in Haiti. The U.S. Embassy in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, has suspended routine visa services in Haiti. DOS provided information on how individuals can request their case be transferred to a new embassy or consulate, how to submit expedited requests, and how inter-country adoption processes have been affected. ALA has previously urged the Biden administration to offer safety to Haitians, with AILA President Ben Johnson stating, "Given the violence and instability facing Haiti, AILA urges the Biden administration to take immediate and urgent action to provide relief to impacted Haitians using all of the tools in the executive branch's toolbox." Dubious claims about voting flyers at a migrant camp show how the border is inflaming U.S. politics. The Heritage Foundation, one of the leading anti-immigrant groups and the hardliners behind the extremist Project 2025, began tweeting breaking and critical alerts about an obviously falsified flyer allegedly given by a Jewish immigrant relief organization to migrants crossing the border into the U.S. from Mexico, urging them to vote for President Biden. But the flyer is so transparently fictional that even the border hawks at Fox News, including Bill Melligan, dismissed it as suspect. That did not prevent at least 3 members of Congress from holding up the falsified flyer as evidence of a conspiracy by elites, including Jews, to rig the upcoming election against Republicans by allowing people to vote illegally. Finally, Homeland Security Investigations, HIS, seeks to distance itself from ICE. The Washington Post reports that the investigative arm of DHS is launching a new effort to distance itself from ICE, its parent agency, because officials say the contentious politics of immigration enforcement have undercut its efforts to combat transnational crime. The makeover partly aims to appease senior HSI agents who have sought a breakaway because so many major U.S. cities have adopted policies limiting cooperation with ICE. It would take an act of Congress to make HSI a fully independent agency within DHS, however, so the relaunch amounts to a compromise. Thank you.
Our weekly immigration news roundup is brought to you by the law firm of Figueroa & Associates. For a consultation on any immigration or legal matter, please call 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. For full stories and more immigration news, visit www.theimmigrantsjournal.com. That's www.theimmigrantsjournal.com.